tonight's demo is a pink poppy. All right, poppies typically, when we paint them, tend to be red, and that's a pretty beautiful flower. But I just fell in love with this painting, or this photograph that I saw of this pink and purple poppy, and it was for real. It wasn't an AI, and it wasn't you know, somebody's art piece that they already painted and thought of. So anyway, this is my version of that poppy, and I'm excited to share it with you. We're going to get going on that right now, so let's get overhead and get started. Okay, so this is what we're working on. Now, I'm going to share with you, I've got all my colors out already, and we're ready to go. Okay, so my background colors, remember I'm doing these on 6x12 canvas. So the last two demos that I did, the iris and the rose, we did on those. And so this third one is going to be on a 12x6 canvas also. So I've got my canvas background colors that we've used before, right? The soft apple and the sap green. So I'm getting my sponge damp with my fingers, and I'm going to go ahead and load with the soft apple. I'm going to pick that up. All right, and we're going to work that into our canvas. We'll get this on real quick. I know you guys have seen this already before, so I'll get this on here real quick. Leaving some of that movement in the background, and you're doing circles in getting the paint worked into the canvas grooves. All right, and then we're turning our sponge this way so that the back that doesn't have paint but is damp is softening our dark color that we're going to pick up now. We're picking up the sap green, and I think I got a little too much. Let's wipe some of that off. There we go. A little bit more of that soft apple in there. All right, so we're making circles with that, and we're letting the back half of our sponge kind of soften those colors together as we're coming up, and we're getting the sides. I love these sponge painters for quick and easy backgrounds. Okay. So we got that on there. All right, so let's go ahead and set that there. We'll fold this up and put it in our cubby. All right, and so my colors for my flower are, we're using magenta and wicker white for our flower, and we're going to be using a 3/4 inch flat for that. And then for the leaves and stems and the bud, we're using classic green and citrus green, but we're going to be working in some medium gray because these have a slightly grayish tone to them. We used to have a color, and it was, now I can't think of what it's called. It was a like a grayish green color, and it still exists in the standard matte colors paints through Plaid, but we don't have them in our multi-surface. So we're going to be making that color happen with some white and some gray, medium gray mixed in with that. And then the purple we're using is this violet pansy. We're going to be using our mop to pull that in. And I just wanted to say one thing about mops before I get into, and I'm letting this kind of dry as well, before I get too far into this demo, because there was a question that came up on one of Donna Dewberry's YouTube channel videos, and that was, you know, can this class be without those mops because that's not one stroke? And I'm going to show you, okay? Throughout the years of one-stroke painting, there have always been mops. So that isn't something new that we just picked up. All right, we've had all of these mops over the years. So we started with our green-handled mops. Plaid doesn't make these anymore, but we did have them. And we used them for softening and blending. So there was a 1/4 inch mop and a 1/2 inch mop. And then when Plaid stopped making those, she was working with Martin F. Weber, And they created a set of 3 mops for her, right? A 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 3/8 inch mop set. And those were wonderful. So I have those. It's like a history of mops in one stroke. And then we had, with the W oils from Martin F. Weber, we had this great big mop that we added. This is our Dewberry U Pro mop, and this was wonderful, especially with the W oils, to get those colors to blend when they were still wet. And then now we have our silver handled mops, and so we have had a love for these throughout the years, and we continue to want them and use them, and we find ways to get them back into our toolkits. Okay, so we're happy that we were able to get these. Okay, so let's get on to our flower painting. All right, now remembering that the size of this flower is going to be pretty good size, about the size of my fist, and I want to drop it down from the top of my canvas about 2 fingers or so. So my upper petal is going to sit right up there, so my whole flower is going to sit right in this light green area. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I'm going to load with my magenta. All right, so I want to pull out magenta, and we're going to load the whole brush with magenta, and then we're going to come over and we're going to get white on 1/3 and work that in. Okay, I'm going to turn this so it's this way. All right, so white on 1/3 and work that in. I'm not going for a super strong white just yet. All right, so work that in, and then I'm going to go and dip into floating medium and work that in. All right, now I'm going to come over next to this white. Let's come right here, and we're going to, I'm looking at this. No, I want to bring this white over more. I painted this a few days ago and I'm trying to remember. So it's more of a 1/2 and 1/2 with the pink. That's going in the inside, okay? All right, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to side stroke some strong white on that other pink edge. Okay, so we're going to start from the back, upper back of our flower. And I'm going to come, we're going to do these in some pieces of strokes. So we're going to go up and out, up, smooth wiggles, and come down and stand into the middle. Okay, going to come and side stroke a little more strong. And you see we're getting a light center, a darker pink, and then a light outer edge. Right here, strong white. And we're going to come in. Got to remember how I'm loading this, right? So we're coming, every time I need more paint, I got to come here. And then on that magenta edge, I'm going to side stroke that strong white. Okay. Now let's come down so you can see a little closer, because I want you to see, now that you understand the brush load. Okay, so they're kind of smooth wiggles. So you see how I'm getting that? Now I want to turn this because I want to bring this there we go. Bring that in. So my center of my flower is going to be right here. Keep picking up my color and side stroke my strong white. Now let's come around the other side. Here, whoops, stronger white than that. And pull it in. Now here, I want to come out, and then I'm going to give it a roll, and then come back out again. All right, so we're getting, it's a very soft pastel looking pink. The petals really spray out. Come side stroke that strong white. All right, and then here. All right, Come get that strong white again. So see the layers I'm creating? So I came in here and then I came back in again and came out and stood it up. Okay, and then to finish, side stroke the strong white. Let's come here, a little more. Okay. All right, so that's our basic poppy layout of the skirt. Now we want to come and add some fun strokes that will make this look less like a rose and more like a poppy. Okay, so we're going to come in and give this petal right here, we're going to give it a fold. So let's come from here and we're going to push it out and then stand it up right there. Might be easier actually if we come from here, right there, and then pull it in. There we go. And let's come here. Give that a little fold. Now I want this petal to be on top of this one, so let's come right in here and put that in there. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to start adding little pieces of petals that don't come out the first time you stroke them, right? So you want to come and add this. I want to clean that up a little bit. There we go. All right, so with that gives me my pretty flower stroke. Let's come in here. We'll lay a little one in there. And then with the corner of my brush, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the center. Okay, now I kind of let that dry before I can put my purple in there. And so what I'm going to do now is work on the leaves. So I'm clean that brush and let's come load these leaf colors. So let's back up just a hair. All right, so question was, can I show, excuse me. Question was, can I show that rolled stroke on a scrap piece of paper? So I'm going to do that before I move on. That's fine. Let me get a practice sheet here. There we go. So I'd already cleaned my brush, but that's okay. I didn't see your question, Katie. I'm sorry. All right, so let's come back here and we'll load those colors. And I'm going to show you this just with these two colors. It doesn't really matter what the load is as long as you can see that roll, right? Okay, so you're coming along with a petal stroke. Let's come down again. All right, so let's do it this way. So you're coming along with a smooth stroke here, and then you want to roll it. So you're going to stand it to the chisel. Right here, you're going to stand it up on the chisel and you're going to lean back on the handle of the brush so you kind of squish that back pink part of the brush. You're going to roll the petal stroke to the left, so the front edge of the brush goes to the left, and then you're bringing it around back to the front as you're moving the stroke along. Okay, so you're getting a look down into that fold as you do it. Right, I'll show you coming this way. Right, so if you're coming along this way, and then you're going to lean back on that back corner of the brush, roll the brush to the right, bring the whole brush forward to the left, and then roll it back around as you come through. All right, and that gives you that pretty roll. Okay, so I hope that helped you. Okay, all right, so let's come back to our flower. So, and that's the kind of thing that's going to happen in that new workshop. Okay, so we're going to be able, but you're going to actually be able to ask me live instead of writing it out and waiting for me to respond to you. So with that Strokes of Joy workshop, you're going to be able to ask me those questions, and we're going to get them answered for you right away. All right, and then you're going to be able to try that stroke in front of me and others, and then we're going to see how we can help you. So I'm going to be teaching you how to do self-critique and troubleshoot too. Okay, all right, so let's come in. We've got our 3/4 inch flat again, and I've got citrus and classic green, so I'm going to double load my 3/4 with those two colors. All right, and then I want to knock this down a bit into a grayish tone. So I'm going to come and get medium gray on my whole brush. All right, and we're going to work that in. Then I'm going to come and get white on the whole brush, and we're going to work that in. Okay, so we're bringing that color down. Let's get a little more of that gray on the darker green. Okay. And then we're going to get medium, work that in. I'm going to come over here and side stroke some white. Okay, so first thing we want to do is find the center of our flower, which is right here, and then we're going to come from that center out to the edge of the flower right here, and then we're going to touch down on the stem, and I'm going to give this a little bit of a curve down like that. Okay, so you're just on the chisel. These have kind of spindly little stems. Okay, and then we're going to have a bud that's going to come up here, and we're going to roll that over and bring it down. Okay, now let's come and side load some more of that white. So this bud has a bell-shaped top like this. Okay, and then from the edge we're going to come down and up, and then we're going to overlap and come up. Okay, and then we can restroke that bell in there. So before they open, they have these kind of pods that that tip over, and then they start to stand up on their own. And then what I want to do here is we're going to touch right there and pull that back into the stem. Okay, so let's come back to our load. We're going to side stroke some white, and I'm going to add my leaves. A little bit stronger white. So these leaves are kind of spiky, and so I'm going to have one that comes out this way, and then we're going to bring another one that's going to come across here. Okay, so side stroke that white, and we're going to come right here, and you're not very hard pressure on the flat of the brush. You want to be more up on the chisel with these. So you're going to stroke out to the edge, right? Go out to a point and come back in, and then out to another point, and I'm up on the chisel. You can see I'm hardly applying any pressure. And out and in, little spiky tips, and then stand to the chisel. Okay, now I'm going to rotate this because it's easier to stroke towards you on the other side to make sure you see your hand. I've had a lot of people that I've been teaching lately in skill builders and their certifications that struggle with one side of your leaf, and that's because your hand, if your hand gets in the way and you can't see the stroke, then you need to turn your surface so that you can see where you're going and what your brush is doing, keeping your eye on that outside edge. Right, and then we're going to pull stem into that. Okay, So we're going to do that leaf again. Let's get a little more gray into this green. And then come side stroke our white. All right, and we're going to tip this way so I can see. So we're going to come here, right? And out and in on the chisel, no pressure, hardly any pressure. Okay, and stand up. All right, then we're going to turn it this way. Out and in. And stand up. Okay, so that leaf is not hard as long as you stay up on that chisel edge of the brush, and we're going to pull a stem into that leaf. And there you go. All right, I got a little pink out here. Let me see if I can clean that off with a flat brush. Nope, I might have wiped my thumb over it. And let's see if we can get that off of there. Yeah, there it goes. That's what I like about these multi-surface paint colors, because they have a sealer built in. And once the background is dry, you can get any kind of boo-boos off if you notice them with a damp brush. Okay, all right, so now what we want to do is sweep out our pretty purple center. So I'm going to get medium, a little bit of medium on this 1/2 inch mop, and then I'm going to get some violet pansy loaded onto that brush. Okay, and so we're going to sweep this out into each petal. So if you think about, there's a petal here, there's a petal here, 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 and there. Okay, so thinking about where the petals are and their position, and then you're going to sweep out into part way into those petals. Okay, doesn't that look pretty? So I find it's much easier to do that with a mop than with a flat brush, because I feel like the flat brush digs into the paint, where the mop you can lay it on and its bristles are soft enough that it lets the paint just flow. Okay, now we want to pounce our center. All right, so we're going to take, this is a 1/4 inch mop, or 1/4 inch scruffy, excuse me, and I'm actually going to use some soft apple. All right, and some white. Oops, that's pink. All right, so I'm loading soft apple and white. Let's do it out here. All right, and we're just going to pounce around center. Get a little bit stronger white on that. So these centers are not fuzzy or fluffy or whatever, but they're not smooth either. All right, but we want to get that shape in there so that we can put the details on top of that. So the next thing we want to do is take a script liner, and we're going to get some citrus green. All right, and we're going to find the center of the center. So let's come down a little closer. All right, and so the center, I'm going to have this looking so it's slightly tipped up, so my center is going to be a little bit higher, right about there. All right, and so with the script liner, you're going to touch here, and you're going to come down on a curve, going like it's falling underneath the curve of the center. Okay, So here, like it's wrapping under. So following the curve. Now as you break that halfway mark, then the curve goes like this. And then you have, oops, that's too much. Shorter ones through there, okay? So now it looks rounded because of that. Then you can come in with some white on the very tip, right through here. We'll put a little dot right there. Okay? Then we add all the stamens around that center. So I'm going to get some inky white. So I'm mixing white with water. I need clean white, not pink white. So white with water on my script liner, not to a point where it's super thin like you're going to do curlicues, but thin enough that you can get the movement, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to come outside that center, we're going to touch and lift and pull little stamens in. And they need to be curved as they come in. And you're going to vary the length. You're lifting as you pull that stroke in. So you're touching that tip down and lifting to a fine point coming into the center. And I'm really just going to full strength white. I'm actually not going inky anymore. I don't think I needed it to be inky like I thought. So touching and lifting different lengths and letting them cross over each other is a good thing. Okay, so you're working your way around. I'm going to turn this. Tip into that white. Let's get long here. All right, we're going all the way around. So that's a pretty little center right there. And you could even come out further if you wanted to, but I'm trying to keep it within that purple. All right, now I want to dry this real quick so I can show you the shading. Okay. So yeah, that's dry. All right, so now what we want to do is shade underneath that center to help it have some depth, okay? So I'm going to grab my, I want a 12. No, actually I don't. So this is an 8 flat. And we're going to load medium, floating medium on the 8 flat. All right, and then we're going to come and side stroke my green. So I want my darker green. This is classic green. Okay, and what you want to do to shade this center, I'm going to come down just a little bit closer. And from this edge here down with your brush angle down, and we're going to shade along that bottom edge over to the other side. So just on the front edge of this, right? Because this part is popping out. Then So that helps the center look more round. Then I'm going to come and load that same brush with medium, and we're going to side stroke some violet pansy. Right, and we're going to come under here and shade in front of that. And that's going to help that really pop out like that. Okay. And I'm just going to do a few little finishing touches. So right here where my stem is showing, I want it to look like it's going under, so I'm just going to put some white right over that. And I thumb bumped it over here, so there, we'll fix that. Okay, so you can also do a little shading to help these petals stand out. Let me grab a 12 flat. Right there. And I'm going to load medium. And then we're going to side load some magenta. Okay, so now what you can do is you can come in through here and float right in there. You can come behind this petal. And here. Under this one. Remember, when you're shading and you're floating, you're always on the flat of the brush. Right? And then how about right here? Now to help this rolled stroke right here, we could darken right in there as well. Right inside of it. That'll help it pop out a little bit. I got a little bit of white on here. Now I'm going to bring these white edges back up. Let's go right here. And don't do this everywhere, right? You want it to have some light and dark tones, not necessarily stark all the time. Right? There. All right, and then I like to come through and just do a little bit of a white highlight over the top of that center. All right, so let's come back up and take a look. There you go. So grab a script liner and we'll get some inky sap. Oh, one thing I wanted to do before I forgot. Well, let me sign it with this first, but I want to get some of this classic green, and we can bring that around. A little bit of the citrus. This curve is a little tricky, and so if you have to come back in and get with a liner or a smaller brush, which is what I did, you can spread that out just a little bit and refine and fix that so it looks more round where it's attached to the top of the bud. Okay. A little bit of white with that. So the basic strokes that I showed you in the beginning are fine and they're really good for a beginner, but these are some other things that you can do to help add more detail and refine your strokes. Okay. All right, there we go. So there is our pink and purple poppy. I hope you enjoyed that little demo and lesson, and thank you guys so much for watching and joining me tonight.